Josh Sweet. Where's Joshua Sweet? Josh Sweet. Joshua Sweet. Okay. Please take your seats. All right. Howdy, Senate. Howdy. So, glad to see everyone here this evening. Sorry about the delay. I call this meeting to order at 7:06 p.m. So we will now move into a period of opening roll call. All right. SVP Brooks.
Howdy.
Chief Justice Hanna.
Howdy.
Speaker me. That's me. Pro temp is me. Just kidding. Speaker Wayne. Howdy. Chair Johnson.
Howdy.
Chair Wolf. Howdy. Chair Day. Howdy. Chair Abdullah.
Howdy.
Chair Black.
Howdy.
Chair Convides. Howdy. Chair Wilson. Okay. Chair Wilson. Senator Amin.
Howdy.
Senator Anderson. Senator Anderson. Senator Andrus.
Howdy.
Senator Arambula. Senator Arambula. Senator Banks.
Howdy.
Senator Benke.
Howdy.
Senator Birnbaum. Senator Birnbaum. Senator Bredemeyer.
Howdy.
Senator Brown. Senator Brown. Senator Camp. Senator Castleman.
Howdy.
Senator Christie. Senator Christie. Senator Chunga.
Howdy.
Senator Collins.
Howdy.
Senator Compton.
Hi.
Senator Cook.
Howdy.
Senator Fox.
Howdy.
Senator DeJong.
Yeah.
DeYoung, sorry. Senator Diamantris. Senator Edmondson.
Howdy.
Senator Evans.
Howdy.
Senator Hale.
Howdy.
Senator Allie Hogue.
Howdy.
Senator Jill Hogue.
Howdy.
Senator Hernandez.
Howdy.
Senator Pingarani. Senator Hogue. Oh wait, sorry. Just kidding. Senator Hong.
Howdy.
Senator Hull.
Howdy.
Senator Jacobson.
Howdy.
Senator Krogh. Julia Krogh. Senator Olivia Krogh.
Howdy.
Senator Lisa Baya.
Howdy.
Senator Little.
Howdy.
Senator Maples.
Howdy.
Senator McCabe.
Howdy.
Senator McCaskill. Senator Malocki.
Howdy.
Senator Monroy.
Howdy.
Senator Moody.
Howdy.
Senator Jordan Moore.
Howdy.
Senator Morgan Moore. Senator Moreno.
Howdy.
Senator Musall. Senator Ogier.
Howdy.
Senator Pardo.
Howdy.
Senator Parker.
Howdy.
Senator Peterson.
Howdy.
Senator Phillips.
Howdy.
Senator Ramirez.
Howdy.
Senator Reveloso.
Howdy.
Senator Roberts.
Howdy.
Senator Rossi.
Howdy.
Senator Salazar.
Howdy.
Senator Serrato.
Howdy.
Senator Shah Hussaini. Senator Smart.
Howdy.
Senator Spalding. Senator Siegel.
Howdy.
Senator Sweet.
Howdy.
Senator Tilson.
Howdy.
Senator Tran.
Howdy.
Senator Walker.
Howdy.
Senator Walter. Senator Warnke.
Howdy.
Senator Westbrook.
Howdy.
Thanks, guys. So we will now move into a period of invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Senator Peterson. Please stand.
If you could bow your heads. Dear God, thank you for this wonderful day that you have blessed us with. God, please speak through us, give us guidance and wisdom so that we as students may be able to lead other students in our student body. Father, please look over us and please give us the strength to speak up and work for our wonderful university. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Sorry, I was a Boy Scout.
If you would remain standing, we're going to move into a period of the reading of the mission statement and Aggie Honor Code led by our longest serving senator, Chair Dane.
The Texas A&M Student Senate mission statement is, the Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and communities through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institution. And Aggie does not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate those who do.
All right, and now we will move into a period of the singing of the Spirit of Aggieland.
Sunday goes to Palestine, from the school within so grand, there's a spirit in every soul. It's the spirit of Aggie land. We're the Aggies, the Aggies are we. True to each other as Aggies can be. We've got to fight, boys, we've got to fight. We've got to fight for maroon and white. After we stay all the rest, they will come and join the best. For we're the Aggies are we. We're from Texas A&M.
Please be seated. We will now move into a period of open forum, starting with Gentile Odilla, a physics major, class of 2019, representing the Multicultural Council, which also includes APC and BSAC.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Some of you guys may know Chair Abdullah, your friendly neighborhood constituency affairs chair. But right now, I'm putting on my BSAC hat as BSAC president. BSAC is the Black Lines Council. We are an organization host within the Department of Multicultural Services, and our mission and purpose stems from being the voice of the Black community, as well as fostering growth within it. Me and a few of the cultural councils that are working with inside the DMS decided to come down and have a little talk to you guys today about exactly what we do, how we help the students around, just keep the faces similar, keep everybody working together. So that's my spiel.
Howdy, guys.
Howdy.
So my name is Jackie Mack, and I'm a senior at MICE major, and I'm the president of Asian Presidents Council this year. And so, as Gentle's counterpart in the DMS, I serve as the voice for the Asian population on campus. So we're actively working this year to make sure that their voice is heard, their voice is represented. And so, if any of you have any questions about the Asian population or what it is that we do here in the DMS, please feel free to reach out to us.
All right, howdy.
Howdy.
I'm Hunter. I'm also with APC, but I'm the director of outreach. In addition to that, I am also the chairman of an event we have planned called Fusion Fiesta. It is a group effort between APC, BSAC, and HBC are working together like every year to deliver a event that celebrates all culture on campus. So it doesn't matter where you're from, everyone has something that they're proud of that they want to celebrate. So we're gonna have booths explaining culture and having fun games. We're gonna have performances, kind of like showing that to the general student body, and we're gonna have prizes, contests, interactive games. It's gonna be a big event. Oh, and also we're gonna have a lot of food. We have about 1,000 people last year coming, so we're planning for even more people. So definitely come out and hang out with us.
That's pretty much it. HPC couldn't be here today, but they're the Hispanic Presidents Council. They are basically our counterparts to do the same thing with the Hispanic community. But that's pretty much what we'll do for today. Thanks.
All right. So that closes the period of presentation. Are there any questions for the presenters? Seeing none, Thank you. We're done with the period of open forum. Thank you. All right, so we will now move into a period of the approval of the September 6th minutes. Are there any objections to the approval of those minutes? All right, seeing none, that passes by unanimous consent. And now we will move into a period of special presentation from Mayor Pro Tem Shelley Schultz.
Thank you for having me here tonight. I have actually spoken to this group, probably to none of you, but to a group that was here 3 years ago when I ran for re-election. I'm actually about to term out on my 6.5 years on the College Station City Council. I just wanted to come to you tonight and talk to you about a few issues that I think you'd be interested in, that they directly relate to you. I've seen a lot on the council over the last 6 years that it really needs to have your input. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I got here in 1967 when I was 4 years old. My dad started the Forest Science Department at A&M. I went to A&M, I found my husband there. I stayed here in the community and raised my children and have a graduate class of 2013. Anyway, we've started our own business now. My husband is a civil engineer and we have our own civil engineering company. The reason that I wanted to speak with you is I've seen kind of the way things have gone over the last 6 years, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for you guys. I know you probably have had some issues with the city. I want to hear about those. We are very, very appreciative about having our student liaison from here to be at our city council meetings. Wayne Beckerman was our first one, and then Spencer Davis was the next, and then Jonah Chen is there now. And I believe that's making a huge difference. They get to hear every day what we have to face as far as citizens. And a lot of the citizens come up and they say really not very nice things about students. And I know that in the past, students have come in and after we've already done something that they didn't like, and they never had a voice. Now we actually have someone sitting up on the dais with us, being able to give the student input, give the student opinion, viewpoint, whatever it is. You send us very good representatives, by the way. I couldn't have asked for better. In fact, I wish I was that good. They're very well spoken. They wrote some letters to the editor over the last 6 months that were well beyond anything that I can do. Very poised, very intelligent people. I think that definitely needs to keep going. The reason I'm here tonight is not just to ask you about issues that you have, but to talk to you about your political power. You are a very strong group. If in politics, local politics, every single person in local politics I've ever talked to said, if the student body ever mobilized, they would control the entire city, which is the truth. We have very small turnouts for our elections. If you decided you wanted to get behind something, a referendum, whatever it is, a elected official, you would make them win. People win with a vote of 1,000 easily. I think this last election, because it was a presidential election, we had the highest level of voters turnout. We had 10,000 new voters sign up, and even the people that lost were way above me and anybody else that's ever won. But what I would like to ask you to think about is to actually spend some time each fall, and I know it comes right after you've started school, but to actually bring in candidates that are running for local office and interview them. The Home Builders Association does it, the realtors do it, the Firefighters Association does it. There's a lot of groups that actually, the neighborhood associations do it. They bring the candidates in, ask them questions, and then several of these groups actually provide an endorsement for the one that they believe is going to represent them the best. And we have some of those people who do represent you. I did come before you for reelection. It wasn't a time where you were doing that, but I believe I garnered support from the students that I spoke to. I've always had your best interest at heart and been available to speak to anyone who was interested in, if you had an issue who needed my help. With Wayne, we actually started a discussion about having more than 4 unrelated in the neighborhoods around the campus. We haven't gotten very far on that, but there's potential because, again, I'm going back to the power of the student body. You can change that. If that's what you want, if you want to make it so more people can live in a smaller space for less money and walk to school, you can do that anytime you want. You just elect the right person, you put the right referendum out there, and it'll happen. It's democracy. That's the way it works. So I wanted you to understand that that's possible. Whatever other things that you have, I know that's a thing. I actually had a lady write to me yesterday, a mother whose son is in a house with 5 people. The landlord said, oh, it shouldn't be a problem, but only 4 on the lease. And the city caught them. It's very hard to catch that, by the way, for code enforcement. They have to actually be able to document it, and it's very easy to trick them. But somehow these kids got caught, and one of them has to be evicted. So that caused not only one kid to have to leave, but 4 other kids can't afford the house now. We do have a little bit of a cushion right now with housing. There's a lot of it. So it's not as big a problem, but 4 years ago, it was a big problem. There wasn't enough for everybody. And if things keep going like they're going, and we have 70,000, 80,000, 100,000 students, we're going to be in this situation. Our problem, from my standpoint, is the people that live in the neighborhoods and the other citizens that push back against students. Somehow, there's people in our community that think if they just restrict the crap out of being able to live somewhere, then you'll go away. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. I don't get it. In fact, a lot of those people are the professors that actually get paid by you guys to work here. It makes no sense to me, but it's been an issue for many, many, many years. I've heard people complain, oh, the students are back. The students are the economic driver of this community. The students were here before the city was here, and no one seems to remember that. Everyone that's moved here has no way to complain because they knew what they were getting into when they got here. That's so I would like to, as I roll off of council, offer my assistance in any way. I think you could use, and it doesn't have to be me. There are actually quite a few people in our community that want to participate with you guys and help you mobilize and become that power and actually do things that you think make the changes that need to happen. I understand the political process in our community very, very well. I definitely can help you do that. Some of the ideas we brought up is you have a liaison to our city council. Maybe we could have a liaison to the student senate from the city, a community member. I don't know that you want to necessarily have a council person, but someone that actually has connections back to the type of voice.
Chair Day, do you have a motion?
Chair Day Finance, I have a motion.
State your motion.
I move to extend the period of presentation by 4 minutes.
10 seconds. Seeing multiple. All those in favor of extending the period of presentation by 4 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
Thank you. So, just to close what we're talking about, I want to hear about your issues. I brought up the housing, which you know is a concern. My personal opinion is if you're looking from the sky down, the way you do planning and development is you put the largest amount of density around your downtown. Texas A&M is our downtown. And we need to take Southgate and Eastgate and create a much denser living similar to Northgate so that students can come here, possibly without a car, walk to school, enhance our transportation system so you can get around without having to have a car. That's not just for help to you guys, it helps us in the city in that it lessens the stress on our infrastructure, our roads, sewer and water. It makes sense and definitely helps with the traffic, which is the thing the people that complain about students actually complain about. So, and it's a green thing to do. It makes the ecology of our community a much better, more efficiently run space. What I would like is to hear from you guys. If you have any ideas, if you have any thoughts for me, I'm still on council for 3 more months till November the 20th. So if you have anything you want me to take back with me, I'd be very happy to listen to those ideas. Anybody?
All right, so are there any questions for our Mayor Pro Tem? Let's start with Senator Moreno.
Senator Moreno, College of Engineering. Are there any plans for the decline or stoppage of apartments? Because there is a surge of just amount of students and traffic has been increasingly worse. And with the new construction of that was recently finished with Park West, it's just been mayhem in the streets. Do you have any insight about what's happening on
The Park West project was put there without any discussion with the city association. We learned about it in the newspaper like everybody else. I do think we have a better relationship with the university now to where when they are going to do a large project, they are going to come and talk to us first so that we can build the roads and make that infrastructure better. The market is going to dictate that apartment situation. Right now, we have a plethora of apartments. We also have a lot of hotels. I think you're not going to see a lot of new apartments or hotels come online because the market is saturated. We can't really regulate. We can't say you can rezone this, but we don't want that there. We can say kind of what we want, like commercial or residential or multifamily, but we don't get to choose, oh, we want a Walmart there, or we want, it's illegal for us to do that. So we have to just go with the general zonings, and that's how we decide that. But really, the market decides it. In fact, we have a problem with affordable housing right now. No young families can afford to live in our town. Our elementary schools have stopped growing. And that's because we haven't built any houses that are affordable for young professionals after you graduate or young families. So these rentals that have maybe not been kept up so great, in lieu of kids going to the apartments instead of these rental houses, the rental houses will go on the market and solve part of that problem. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, Chair Day.
Community finance, if we want to get involved in, or just, I guess, contact other council people and try to get involved, is there a website we can go to with contact information? Is there like some sort of schedule for when meetings are, that kind of thing?
There is all of that on our website at cstx.gov. I will give you my cell phone number right now. You can write it down. You can call me anytime or text me. I'm on my phone all the time. 979-255-1700. That's my personal number. If you ever have an issue just outside of all this that we're talking about, something comes up 5-10 years from now, you want to get your voice heard, and going to a meeting and going to hear visitors, which we're on the 2nd and 4th Thursdays of the month generally, unless something's changed it. It's pretty set. And we meet at City Hall, workshops at 6. The main meeting starts at 6, and we do hear visitors first. So you can get up and say anything you want. It's for 2 minutes you get to say, or 3 minutes, you can say whatever you want about people. You just can't be mean to people or talk ugly about anybody in particular.
2 minutes.
You can email, you can't go to the meeting.
Senator Roberts, do you have a motion?
I'm so sorry. Student Roberts College of Liberal Arts, I have a motion to extend the period of question and answer by 4 minutes.
Motion has been made. Are there any seconds? Seeing multiple, all those in favor of extending the period of question and answer by 4 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that passes.
You can email, and I tell this to all the citizens, you email every member of council. It's generally their first initial and their last name at cstx.gov. But you can go online and just click on city government, and it'll pop up with all of the current city council members. But I will tell you, that's how you get your voice heard. The more people that email about something, the more it gets attention. It's the same in Austin and DC. So that's how you get heard. Showing up in front of people is the number one way. Showing up with a big group is the number one way. Showing up just you is the second best, and emailing a huge amount, doing all those things, you're guaranteed to see some kind of change.
Senator Roberts.
Senator Roberts, College of Liberal Arts, Commission of Preference, briefly preference. I just wanted to say thank you for coming out here and talking to us and encouraging all of us to go out and have our voices be heard. And I just wanted to truly say thank you for coming and taking your time just to encourage us to just be more involved in government and everything. And that's really all I have to say for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Senator or Chair Economides.
Chair Economides, Legislative Affairs. Has anything been brought up about more lights in the historic district? Street lights, not like stoplights.
I understand what you're saying. They put those little historic lights to make it all cute and everything. And I will tell you that that was done years ago before I was there. They also, that whole area, you're talking about the south side, right?
Both.
Well,
yes.
Actually, south side's a little more problematic than the east side because the roads are smaller. And the city offered to curb and gutter all the streets and put sidewalks up for the safety of everyone there. And the neighborhood group that came and worked with the city on a plan said, no, it will change the look of our neighborhood. We don't want that. So it can still be done. It was expensive and we offered it and they turned us down. They really should have taken us up on it because I don't know that we have the money to go back and do it now, but maybe in the future we can do that. They, in a recent city council meeting, as Jonah will tell you, they talked about the safety of the students and how they were concerned, but yet they were the ones that voted to not have these sidewalks. So there's a little bit of a ironicness about that. But yes, anything's possible. If that's what you want, brighter lights, more safety, and always talk about it as a safety issue. That gets you really far.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Smart.
Senator Smart, College of Geoscience. First of all, I really like your glasses. They're very sharp. Secondly, as a geoscientist, are there any immediate concerns in regards to natural resource supply constraints as the city continues to grow? Clean water, any type of oil or natural gas. As the city continues to grow and expand, are there any things that y'all are doing as precautions to ensure that we're going to be properly supplied through the decades to come?
Oil and gas is, we have a lot of restriction on that around the city and in the city. So that's pretty limited, but that lobby is so big in Austin that it's hard to really, if someone has gas or oil on their property, you're going to be able to get to it. Water is a very different story. We just had a workshop on that. We're going to run out of water someday. And we're looking at other options. There is a wide range, as I'm sure you've seen in other places. We are looking at the purple pipe, which is, the non-affluent water to where you can have water instead of irrigation is our number one water suck. So right now we're about to have a discussion on the city makes all the businesses and homes put a mega amount of trees and grass and all the stuff that sucks all the water. Well, that flies in the face of water conservation. So actually there is a council meeting coming up that I put on the agenda to have a conversation about why we're in contradiction with each other on both of those departments. We're trying to lessen the landscaping requirements so that it does help with water conservation. We are looking at other sources. There's a possibility we'll be able to get water out of the river. And so that's something we're looking at right now, but that's limited.
Senator Roberts, do you have a motion?
Yeah. Senator Roberts, College of Liberal Arts, I have a motion to extend the period of question and answer by 2 minutes.
A motion is made. Are there any seconds? Seeing multiple, all those in favor of extending the period of question and answer by 2 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
So, and another possibility is there's a big reservoir part of Texas Municipal Power Agency. They're trying to sell it. We're trying to buy it. We could get that. That would really help. We're limited on our water permits. That regulation in the state is starting to be an issue where the state wants to let individual landowners sell their water. And you can just suck it out right out from under somebody. So that's a really big problem. If I was gonna ever say what's the most important issue that you need to look at for the future of you and your children, it's water.
Thank you very much.
All right, and then Senator Evans.
Senator Evans, off-campus caucus. I was gonna ask first, I didn't catch your name.
Julie Schultz.
And my other question was, what was your favorite memory from being in the council of conservation? What will you take from this?
Well, there was actually a lot of cool things. I was part of the group that helped do the Texas Aggies Go to War exhibit in Belgium at the Battle of the Bulge in Bastogne. Very, very cool. And then they brought it back here, and I still went to Belgium for the opening and the closing, so that was very cool. The city of College Station, I don't know if you know this, we used our hotel motel tax, which is a tax we take from hotels, from visitors, and we have kind of a lot of it. And we gave, over 30 years, we gave $36 million to Kyle Field to help do the rebuild of Kyle Field. That was a big deal. And actually, probably the best thing, I live here. I have my parents' home on Glade Street that I grew up on. I rent it to students. And they're great, by the way. And then I live in South College Station, and I have a business on Southwest Parkway, so I pay a great deal of taxes. But the best part of being on city council, I learned a lot about where I live. Even though I grew up here, of course, I learned a lot more. Everyone should know that much about where they live. That's the best thing.
Are there any other questions for our presenter?
Okay.
Senator Hale, you have 30 seconds remaining.
Senator Hale, brief question. Is there anything we can do as students and as a student body to confront the regulatory hostility we see on a daily basis from the city of Bryan?
Senator Smart, do you have a motion?
Senator Smart, I have a motion to extend the period of question and answer by 2 minutes.
Motion is made. Are there any seconds? Seeing multiple, all those in favor of extending the period of question and answer by 2 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
It's the same situation as you have in College Station. I think, is Jonah going to those meetings?
Yes.
Okay, so you have that. That's huge. You can do the same thing in the city of Bryan. You email every single member of the council. I will say that you have a very different mentality in Bryan than you have in College Station, but they're hungry and they want, College Station has taken the lion's share of development and businesses and things like that. They want that in Bryan. So you're always going to have somebody that's going to want to let go of the regulation to give people more of an opportunity to bring tax base to Bryan. You can do what I just suggested about College Station. You can do the same thing in Bryan. You still have a lot of people that live in Bryan, that vote in Bryan. You can possibly control that situation as much as you would like if you mobilize.
Thank you.
All right, Senator Crowe.
Senator Krug, off-campus caucus. You spoke earlier about the exhibit on Bastogne y'all were able to bring to campus. Do you foresee any other future opportunities where the community and the students can collaborate on military heroes and veterans?
We try to find stuff all the time where, Veterans Park is a big thing, and that's where the actual future home of Texas Aggies Board is going to go. And anytime anyone has anything they want to do, we jump on it because we really like that. I actually have never heard anybody speak against it. So our Veterans Park people are very strong, very involved. So I don't know of anything off the top of my head, but they're always adding stuff all the time.
Thank you.
All right, so that closes the period of question and answer. Or Senator Smart, did you have a motion?
I have a motion. How much longer did you want to have your closing statement?
I have just one quick thing,
Okay.
one sentence. I just want to reemphasize your power. You have that ability. That's not one sentence, sorry. Let's say 30 seconds. I would, personally, I would like you to organize, interview candidates, and endorse somebody. I think your voice means something. Pick somebody that is going to address your issues, just like these other groups said. That's what I implore you to do. You have power, you should use it. And I can help you if you want to know how to do that. Okay.
All right, so we will now move into a period of the swearing in of the Operations Committee. So President Cruz, if you could make your way down to the floor, as well as anyone who's getting sworn in this evening. You have 5 minutes starting at howdy. Please? Not yet. This is ops. Explain everything.
All right, so howdy guys. I sent out an email last week about Director of Ops Committee, and I chose these wonderful people to be in the positions that they are in. So this is Jonathan Hale. He's going to be Director of Development, so he is going to do a lot to make sure that our development days are efficient and they're the best that they can be. Joshua Sweet is going to be our Director of IT, so he's going to be running the computer and making sure that everything technologically minded goes smoothly during the meetings. This is our Director of Comm, Michelle Hong. We also have our Director of Marketing, Nikki Camp, who can't be here today. But Director of Marketing and Director of Comm both handle social media, PR, t-shirts. Get excited because we'll probably do t-shirts this year, hopefully. And then the Director of our Operations, I'm proud to announce that is Ali Hogue. She will be handling archiving of bills and resolutions, and I'll also be delegating some other aspects of the job to her as well. So we're going to have them sworn in. So this is y'all's Ops Committee.
Are there any questions for the presenters?
Yeah, yield to the floor for questions.
Seeing none, would you guys please step out of the room? We're going to move into a period of debate. So is there any debate against the appointees? No? Okay, seeing none, debate is one-sided. All those in favor of confirming these individuals for the Operations Committee, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Can someone please bring them in? Stand.
Please raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jonathan Hale,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute to the best of my ability
that I will faithfully execute to the best of my ability
the duties of the office of State Your Office
the duties of the office of Director of Communications
for the Texas A&M University Student Government Association
for the Texas A&M University Student Government Association
to uphold the honor of the same
to uphold the honor of the same
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
and to promote good relations between the students
and to promote good relations between the students
and those concerned with the university.
and those concerned with the university.
Congratulations.
Please be seated. We will now move into a period of consideration and confirmation of the university committee's members. We will start with Sarah. Yeah, and then she will explain each of the committees. So each of these committees are we're just gonna do 5 minutes per committee, and she's just gonna run through them. Each specific committee, or whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I can get 5 minutes for each committee.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
My name is Sarah Sweeney, and I have the honor of serving as this year's Vice President of University Committees. I know many of y'all are familiar with University Committees, but I'll give a brief overview just to give a clear explanation. So these are faculty-led committees that they request students to sit on, and I think the most amazing thing about these committees is they give the students a voice in like the progress and needs of faculty. And there's over 60 plus student positions, and they're able to give feedback back to SGA about anything they could need or things they're doing. And so it's an awesome liaison opportunity. And so I'll go briefly into how these people were chosen. These are just a fraction of them. But in recent years, university committees have only been available or primarily chosen within SGA. But this year, it was SPP Gross's vision to open up the university committee's application to all students. So the application was sent out in a bulk mail, and while the application was open, we received over 400 university committees applications, which got executive cabinet super fired up about the willingness of Aggies to serve in this respective manner. And so as we began to sift through all the applications, we were mainly looking for two things. The first one was knowledge and passion of the specific interests of the committee. These committees are very wide span of topics, all the way from an athletic council to going to the university libraries committee. And so we wanted students that proved that they would be engaged and willing to speak up in a room full of faculty and share their opinions. So knowledge and passion was the first one. And the second one was just willingness to serve the school. The roots of what we do here in SGA is just to make this campus a better place. So really looking for students that was their main motivation in serving the university in this capacity. And from those applications, the appointment list that y'all has been formed. And I know each of these students is super excited to get involved with their respective committee. And I'm confident in each of their ability to represent the student body and A&M as a whole. Any questions?
Are there any questions for the presenter? Seeing none, we will now move into a period of debate. So if everybody could step out of the room.
Okay, is there any debate against? All right, seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of confirming the university committees, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. All right.
All of you, please raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name.
I
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute to the best of my ability
that I will faithfully execute to the best of my ability
the duties of the office of, state your office,
the duties of the office of Superintendent Committee
for the Texas A&M University Student Government Association,
for the Texas A&M University Student Association,
to uphold the honor of the same,
to uphold the honor of the same,
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body,
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body,
and to promote good relations between the students
and to promote good relations between the students
and those concerned with the university.
and those concerned with the university.
Congratulations.
You get a gavel or something? I hope so.
Please stay in order. All right. So we will now move into a period of the consideration of the consent agenda. Are there any objections to the consent agenda? Yes, Senator Moreno.
Senator Moreno, College of Engineering, I object to the Hispanic Heritage Month resolution.
Okay, are there any seconds? All right, so that will be moved into old business. So seeing that that was the only bill under consent agenda, we will now move into a period of old business, starting with SR 7005, the Hispanic Heritage Month resolution. If the bill presenter could come down to the floor, you have 5 minutes starting at Howdy. Actually, 10 minutes, right? I don't have a book. I have to look at. You get 10 minutes, sorry. Yeah. Oh, it's frozen. Yeah, so just look at me and then I'll naturally. Okay, that's okay.
Howdy. Howdy. So I do want to clarify that I wanted to object to this resolution so I can present it in front of you guys. This resolution has not been passed before in previous years, so I didn't want to make it clear to everyone about why I'm here, along with these guys that are sponsoring it, to present it to you guys. So we can go on the next one. So the main intention of this resolution is essentially to recognize Hispanic Heritage Month here at Texas A&M. As I mentioned a few seconds ago, this resolution of some extent has not been passed before at A&M. And so with the need of identifying, recognizing the population, Hispanic population here at A&M to be celebrated for this month, I felt like it was rightfully in my power to come up with a resolution and present it in front of you guys so it could potentially pass. So I did want to go more details about what's in the resolution for those of you who didn't necessarily read it. This resolution is a little bit detailed, so I'll first start with the historical context of Hispanic Heritage Month. So you can go to the next slide. So the history does start with, one more slide. The history does start with, in 1968, President Johnson decided to commemorate September 15th, the week of September 15th, as Hispanic Heritage Week. But in 1988, President Ronald Reagan decided to expand in a 30-day period from September 15th to October 15th. And as we know it now, this month basically celebrates all people of cultures from Latin America and the Caribbean and Mexico as well. Next slide. So as I mentioned, it celebrates these countries from these areas of part of the world. But I did want to physically show you guys about what countries that are being celebrated. So you can go on the next slide. So these are the many countries I've kind of hidden the flags. But if you start clicking each one of them, the first flag is Guatemala, the second one is Honduras, the third one is Nicaragua, the fourth one is Puerto Rico, Spain, Peru, Uruguay, Venezuela, El Salvador, Ecuador, Paraguay, Cuba, Argentina, Bolivia, Panama, Chile, not Texas, Chile, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Colombia, Mexico, and all Hispanics in the United States. You can go on the next slide. So I did want to also touch base on the some of the notable Hispanic
former students who've come through A&M, and many of you might know these people, maybe you won't. But I did want to point out 6 individuals. So I'm going to go through system very quickly. So the first one is Ann Valdez. I'm assuming everyone here in this room is a big Aggie football fan. That's what we can see this university. Fun fact, Ann Valdez was the first Aggie to score a touchdown for A&M back in 1894 on Thanksgiving Day. It was A&M's second football game, and they beat Galveston 14-0. Very low-scoring game. But Ann Valdez, he was from Hidalgo, Mexico, and there's no photographs of Valdez that exist. Therefore, I had to put a picture of back a game that they had here on campus. And his first name, I don't know what it is either. There's not enough historical context on it. So the next one, please. So the next second person I want to highlight is Willie Peña, as our previous speaker mentioned. This individual, he was a World War II veteran captain. He's also one of the 5 Aggies that is being featured in the From Texas to Besogne, Texas Aggies Going to War exhibit, which is here in the MSC. It's here all semester long. If you guys have not checked it out, I highly recommend you guys taking a visit and celebrating these people who serve our country for the veterans. And he's mainly celebrated because of the pivotal battle that happened in Belgium that essentially gave the Allies a victory in Europe. And while he was a student, he got his Bachelor of Science in Architecture. So you go on the next slide. So this is a picture that was recently taken last December, and that Princess Astrid from Belgium came and visited College Station and presented him with the second highest award for the second highest order of chivalry for Commander of Order of Crown, which is a very high honor in Belgium, and he's done a lot of great things ever since he got back home to the U.S. Next slide. The third person I want to highlight is Daniel Hernandez, class of 1973. He is the founder of AMAC, the Committee of Awareness of Mexican American Culture, which is the first Hispanic student organization here on campus. He's also published several articles about cultural and civil rights and historical matters. And he also owns his own law firm here in Bryan, Texas. And while he was a student, he got his Bachelor of Science in Political Science. Next one. The fourth person I want to highlight is Brigadier General Joe E. Ramirez Jr., class of 1979. For those of you who are in the Corps, this guy is he's a commandant of the Corps Cadets. He has 31 years of military experience, and he's received multiple awards during his tenure in the military. And while he was a student, he got his Bachelor of Science in Physical Education. The next person is Elaine Mendoza, class of 1987. She is the founder and president and CEO of Conceptual Mindworks Incorporated. She is also one of the Board of Regents members. Currently, her position in that Board of Regents is vice chairman. And she holds a lot of power. I mean, she's done a great thing. And when she was a student, she got her Bachelor of Science in Aerospace Engineering. And it's also interesting enough that she's also currently here on campus giving a presentation on selfless service and MSc as we speak. The last person I want to highlight is Fernando Palomo, class of 1995. He is an ESPN play-by-play announcer. For those of you who keep up with soccer or in better terms, football, he's done tons of matches that he's announced for, including FIFA World Cup matches and UEFA Euro Cup matches as well. And during his time here at A&M, he got his Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Economics. So with that said, I did want to highlight another important concept, component of this resolution, and it is that portion that there are close to 14,000 Aggies that identify Hispanic or Latino, which is 22.6%, 22.4% of the total population here, including grad students and undergrads. And with that said, this resolution, it's not going to make a lasting impact for years to come. At least for this coming semester and following, this resolution will serve as the olive branch, as an encouraging gesture to all these students who do come from different parts of Texas and different parts of the country to come to A&M, get a good education, and impact the world in a better way. And for those of you who might not quite understand why this is a big deal within the Hispanic community, is that if you don't grow up as an Aggie, with your parents going to A&M or around College Station, you really don't hear about Texas A&M, which is a very sad thing. A lot of students that come from different parts of Texas, majority from Hispanic heavy populated towns, they hear about University of Houston, University of Texas, University of Baylor University, but they don't really hear Texas A&M because it's not a university that a lot of people aspire to attend.
1 minute.
With this resolution, I do feel.
Senator Evans, do you have a motion?
Senator Evans, I'll take probably most of the extended period presentation by 2 minutes.
The motion has been made. Are there any seconds? Seeing multiple, all those in favor of extending the period of presentation by 2 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
I do feel like this resolution can definitely encourage those who are Hispanics here at A&M to be more involved within different things that A&M stands for, whether it be Midnight Yell, going to football games, going to Silver Taps, going to muster. These aren't things that we really hear until we actually come to A&M itself. So I do want this resolution to be passed on to different communities, different organizations across, here on campus, but also in College Station as well. And with that said, if you can go on the next slide. So the few things I do want this resolution to happen, to be done, is that we officially recognize September 15th, which was last Thursday, and through October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month. And the second thing is that we also extend a thank you and a gratitude to all these former students who are Hispanic that came to our university and did so many great things here, but also out in the world. And then lastly, also support all those Hispanic organizations that are cultivating cultural and contextual intelligence in these students, that are supporting them and becoming better leaders for the future, and also providing that inclusive and integrating them on campus as well. And these are all some of the people that I wish it to be sent to as well. And some of them are updated, not based on what you have on your computers if you already pulled it up. And I've spoken to some faculty and staff people that have supported the resolution as well, that hope it gets passed tonight. And with that, I will yield the floor to any questions.
All right, the floor has been yielded for questions. Are there any questions for the presenters? All right, seeing none, we will move into a period of debate. If you guys could step off the floor. Is there any debate against the resolution? Oh, Senator Hale.
Senator Hale, Off-Campus Caucus. On the first page of this resolution, there are 5 whereas sections, and it's only numbered up to 4. You'll see that in the bottom 2.
Clerical.
And
Could you come down to the floor to explain that, please? Oh, yeah. Just highlight it.
Yeah, that needs to be fixed. I just didn't want to. I know it seems nitpicky, but I'm in HR, and I didn't want to distribute this to all these prestige members and look like a group of UT grads.
The floor has been yielded to. Is there any other debate against? All right, seeing none, debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SR 7005, the Hispanic Heritage Month resolution, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. So we will now move into a period of consideration of emergency legislation, starting with SB 7001, the fiscal year 18 SG8 appropriations bill. Will all of the bill presenters please come down to the floor? All And just to clarify, I know I put this in the email, but emergency legislation means that it must be passed today. So if you have any questions, just look to Quadrant. You have 10 minutes, right? Howdy.
Alright, hi guys.
Howdy.
This is the finance bill, the budgets or allocations for this coming school year. The reason why it's emergency legislation is because I want to get it through and to the people who distribute the money as quickly as possible so organizations can start spending it as quickly as possible because they need to talk to it. So I know it was sent out previously, and in the past we don't really go over it line by line. You ask me to or to explain anything. If you have any questions, I can totally answer them. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Are there any questions for the bill presenters? Seeing none, we will now move into a period of debate. You guys could step off the floor. All right, is there any debate against the bill? Chair Day.
Howdy, I have an amendment.
Okay, state your amendment.
My amendment is that Cooper Little's caucus is incorrect on there. It says engineering, it should say agriculture.
Okay. Is there any debate against the amendment? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. We will.
That's not his caucus.
Sorry. You still have the floor, Chair Day. All right, the floor has been yielded to. Is there any more debate against the bill? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing the SB 7001, the fiscal year 2018 SGA appropriations bill, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. All right. We will now be moving into a period of open session. Are there any bills for open session? Seeing none, we will now move into a period of committee reports. We finished earlier than I thought, so cool. We will start with Pro Temp Cruz.
Hi, everybody.
Howdy.
Sorry about the placards. The printer was like broken for a while. I just wanted to throw that out there. Well, y'all are looking at them, but no, there's like some that just need to be redone. People have come up and talked to me about it, and if you do have that problem, like feel free to come and talk to me about it. I'm really happy that my ops committee got sworn in today. It's gonna be awesome. I really don't think I have anything else, but have a good week, you guys. See you next time.
All right, Chair Economides.
Chair Economides, Legislative Affairs. We're going to have a committee meeting next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. It's probably going to be here because I think your LR partners are going to come. They should have contacted you by now. And you know your issue and all that fun jazz. Text me if you guys have issues. Other than that, you should be working with your LR buddy to like research and start getting things going because they have that deadline that we need to be aware of. Other than that, I think we're good. So do I have any questions?
Does anyone have any questions for Chair Economides? Seeing none, Chair Day.
Chair Day, fine. Howdy. Thanks for passing the bill. That makes me really happy. We worked really hard on it. So I'm just gonna say a quick thank you to all my committee members. This is my third year doing allocations. I've never seen such a consistent and large turnout of committee members for each allocation meeting. We never had any problems being formed. I really appreciate that, guys, because it makes everything go a lot faster. Okay, so as far as my committee goes, we will be having a meeting next Wednesday at 7 for now. I sent out some stuff on the drive. If you saw my message on GroupMe, you did, you get that turned in, you don't have to come. Yes, counting you present. So everyone should hope to get that done and not have to come. And then if everybody gets one in, then I don't have to go anywhere and everybody's happy. So that's all I have, I think.
Any questions for Chair Day? Seeing none, Chair Abdullah.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Great meeting with my committee last time. We discussed a lot of important things, and I want you guys to keep the same energy that we had last time. Speaking of last time, next meeting we're going to have is probably going to be Sunday around the same time. That might be some changes just because of scheduling and such. I know there are some people who can't make that meeting, so I'll keep you guys updated as far as that goes. But be ready to have some guests at our next meeting, so we can discuss the dress code a bit. You can check the minutes for that, and that's all I can say. Any questions?
Any questions for Chair Abdullah? Seeing none, Chair Wilson.
Howdy.
So tomorrow evening, Joe is going to have his meeting again for the executive branch. It's going to be at the same time, it's going to be at 7. He hasn't sent me the location yet. I'll send it out whenever he does. And I also want you to have our first formal meeting this Sunday evening. So I'll send out a time and a place for that. And instead of trying to accommodate everybody's time, we're probably just going to have to pick 1 or 2 times and vote on those. If you can make it, you can make it. If not, submit your excuse. But I look forward to meeting with y'all. Thanks. Oh, is there any questions?
Any questions for Chair Wilson? Seeing none, Chair Black.
Howdy. Howdy. So we had our first meeting last week. We'll be meeting again next week. So if you have any questions about doing the group meeting, there's a lot of exciting student services ideas. So we'll be bringing more to the Senate body as well. Any questions?
Any questions for Chair Black? Seeing none, Chair Wolf.
Hey, howdy y'all. We just had a committee meeting today, but we'll probably have another one next week. Definitely before the next session, but like I was telling my committee, Faculty Senate meets the second Tuesday of every month, so the next meeting is October 9th at 3:15 in Rudder 601. So it's essentially just like Student Senate, but faculty. So if y'all want to come and hear what they're doing, you can also find information about the agenda and stuff on their website. But they will be voting on the student rule 7, which deals with the excusing the interviews as a university student absence, which I know is a bill that we passed in Senate last session. So if y'all just want to see what they're on that, come out and join me. So you want to have any questions? Rudder 601, October 9th at 3:15. And if you Google TAU Faculty Senate, all that information is on their website also.
Any other questions for Chair Wolf? Seeing none, Chair Johnson. Chair Johnson, we're doing committee reports.
Chair Johnson, Rules and Regulations Committee. We had a Rules and Regulations meeting last week. Committee meeting, we will be having one next week as well. One of the big projects we're working on is we're looking at the code. So if you're interested in that, feel free to come and give feedback. So,
Any questions for Chair Johnson? Please remain standing, Chair Johnson. Are there any questions for Chair Johnson? Seeing none, we will now. Oh, sorry. Can't see. I'm short. That's my excuse. Sorry, Senator Smart.
I was just going to be proud.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask. Senator Smart called Jay Science. You had a question, man. Why are you on it?
what? I haven't run in a long time.
Senator Sweet.
Senator Sweet, Liberal Arts, same time and place next week?
It is.
Thank you, sir.
All right, are there any other questions for Chair Johnson? Okay, seeing none, we will now move into our period of executive reports, starting with Student Body President Bobby Brooks.
All right, well, howdy, everybody. So some of the things that have been going on the executive side was we hosted our fall retreat for our executive cabinet. That was really a lot of goal piecing together, talking about vision, mission, values, those, the typical 3 things. And next week we'll be launching even further in depth into our cabinet meeting about people's individuals' asks and needs on that. We've implemented a diversity training now, which I think is very important to just kind of get everyone on the same page and working and understanding knowledge regarding that we work with. And then further, we have launched a mental health campaign, thanks to my EVP. Oh, yes, and so he's got a lot of that going on down here, kind of on the basic level of campus, but I'm trying to bring that to the SEC level with all the SVPs from all the other SEC schools. We have a mutual support for it, and so we're going to try and look at getting a kind of a lobbying force going on for that. Further, just working on touching up that game day process that everyone's saying that affects the students. That's something that, what's going down at football stadium, Caulfield, on Saturdays and the days leading up to and after, or how do we handle those things? And those are just constant conversations. There's an IT help desk ribbon cutting this last week, so they launched their new facility, so they keep all of our information safe, kind of important. We don't want everything stolen by hackers and stuff, and so they've got new facilities there that are desperately needed, and so that's all going well. In terms of legislative efforts, we are working with Brandon again, and obviously Katina Economides, working on getting things going together properly in that manner, getting that agenda developed so that we can be prepared to hit it next year. And one thing that's really good about this legislative agenda is that it's very bipartisan. It puts students first. No, very much so. These are things that students really need, regardless of political party affiliation. So we're excited to put time on that and effort into that. But outside that, really just starting to get to know SGA better and meeting individually with all the chairs, and also with Rachel Keithley, ops person. She has been on top of that 110%. She's got a good stream of communication going on between her and the chairs, and she's actually excelling in the role. And outside of that, I honestly am just very proud of everyone in their positions so far. In my cabinet, they've exceeded expectations from myself and from years past, and so hopefully we can keep going on that and turn this year into a very, very favorable year. But with that, I suppose I yield my time to questions.
Are there any questions for SVP Brooks? Seeing none, we will now move into Chief Justice Cuniff.
Howdy, Senate. I won't take as long as I did last time, or grade anyone. I have very little to update you on. The judicial court held a meeting last Sunday, and we spent a decent amount of time going over what we plan to do as a committee, not only on the side of certain things that we want to improve and change, but also in terms of the kind of internal culture we want to cultivate. At this point, I guess I would give a shout out to Shelby James and Jake Smith, the past two Chief Justices, who took an organization where people barely interacted with each other and created, initially through simply getting people together socially, created a culture of a lot of unity and a lot of debate and a lot of way too much time being spent together. And that is something I would like to continue in order to make sure that that level of camaraderie continues, because that really helps us instead of us meeting, during deliberation. I have barely ever talked to you before, so that's a big aim for me. I am currently in the process of interviewing a subset of associate justices to fill the post of Vice Chief Justice. This person is basically sort of a mix of chief of staff and vice president, but also has to be ready to take my place if at any point I have to leave or I'm impeached or any of that fun stuff, which I hope will not happen this year, but who knows. This Sunday, the 24th, I will make a final decision on Vice Chief Justice, and I will attend the mandatory candidates meeting for the fall 2017 elections. My hope is to stare a bunch of freshmen straight. I remember coming to this campus and saying, yeah, I'm going to take over. And then having spent the past 3 years having the life and drive being beaten out of me, I'm just happy to spread this over and can't wait to end and move on. Get some money and all that. So I will hopefully bring them back to earth, but also hopefully leave them inspired by trying to talk about why I am here, and hopefully having them appreciate the scope of what is possible when this student government as a whole chooses to work together and does not fall back because of petty issues and individual egos. On the 25th, I will begin the process of filling the remaining officer positions on the judicial branch. namely the treasurer, the secretary, both of which will be filled by some of the other associate justices, and a chief jag, which will be the person who will coordinate with my vice chief justice in all matters related to assigning jags to individual court hearings and all that. Since all these positions are internal and are created at the behest of the office of the chief justice, they will not be coming up in front of you for confirmation. But I will probably still hold a swearing-in ceremony to make them feel important. That is all I have. Don't break any rules and everything will be fine. Yeah.
Are there any questions for Chief Justice Katt? Seeing none, it's now my turn. Speaker Wang, you have 8 minutes starting at Howdy.
All right, howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So first of all, I want to thank Chair Day because allocation season is over, which means we're like so much easier. Special thanks to all the members of the Finance Committee for all of your hard work. It's greatly appreciated. For those of you who don't really know how our allocation process works, it's $50,000 that they have to distribute to every single SGA committee, and they have to make really tough decisions on, who gets what and who deserves what. And we're super proud of you, Taylor, for getting that done. So next order of business for fish shades. So we're going to get 3 fish shades this year. Super exciting. Farrakhan Meetings is going to be going to the event in my place. We're basically doing like a speed dating event, and we're going to pick 3, and they're going to be around all the time. I'm hoping to appoint them as ex officio officers, which will allow them to ask questions and really get the whole experience out of Senate, and hopefully they'll come back. And then in terms of elections, so I got the opportunity to speak at the fall election informational this past week. So many excited freshmen running for office. So far, 30 have filed. So we'll see how that goes. As far as vacancies go, this is like the least number of vacancies we've had in years. I'm so proud of that. We currently have 2 vacancies in the College of Education, 2 vacancies in the College of Engineering, and then of course 2 seats available in the freshman caucus. So that's it. We have no seats available in off campus, which blows my mind. Next, just some other stuff that happened this weekend. Bobby and I are a part of Chancellor Sharp's Student Advisory Council. So this weekend, all 11 system schools in the Texas A&M University system visited Texas A&M. We took them to the game. We had this really great meeting. We discussed system improvement, legislative outreach, and overall effectiveness. We also talked about DACA and disaster relief, especially seeing that Texas A&M Corpus Christi and also Texas A&M Galveston really were hit very hard by Harvey. So we discussed a lot about how we could cooperate and improve upon those efforts. And speaking of DACA, I have a letter to share with all of you tonight. It is a letter that was passed along to me from Vice President of Governmental Affairs, Michael O'Quinn. And basically what the university is doing at the moment about DACA is they're trying to really have meaningful conversations with individual members of the Texas delegation. So all of the 36 congressmen as well as both senators. So this was a letter that was written to John Cornyn and has also presumably been sent off to Ted Cruz and everybody else in the delegation as well. And I just wanted to read it to y'all so that you guys could hear about some efforts that are going on that are not being publicized. So, dear Senator Cornyn, I respectfully ask you and your colleagues to please address the situation regarding our current students and future Aggies affected by the recent action relating to the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. We appreciate your thoughtful leadership and understanding of the difficult legal issues facing children and young adults affected by this recent action. Thank you for your statement, requesting your colleagues to act towards a long-term solution for these individuals who were brought here through no fault of their own. I have stated to our Aggie community that I sincerely hope the U.S. Congress can find a way through various considerations to determine a solution that honors the unique circumstances of these young people and their commitment to lawfully pursuing the American dream of education, employment, and tangible contributions to our society. It has been a privilege to see firsthand the positive influence our Aggie graduates make within their Texas communities. Through civic and economic engagement, they make Texas better, and a solution to this issue will expand economic opportunities for all Texans. As chairman of the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Border Security and Immigration, your deep understanding of the impact on our state will greatly assist you and your colleagues in crafting an equitable and fair solution. Again, we urge your prompt consideration of legislation, and we stand ready to assist in any capacity. Sincerely, Michael K. Young. So you can ask me any questions about that. That was not published anywhere. That's something that I wanted to share with you all because we want to increase transparency as a body, and I want us to be having these conversations about what we can be doing for these students.
Next, I had a meeting with Dr. Pugh this week. It was really good. We discussed DACA again, and also my cap and gown initiative that I mentioned during last week. So just to remind you guys what that is, I want to start a cap and gown drive through our career closet. So basically, like when students walk across the stage, they'll just like not necessarily tear off their clothes, but like take off their cap and gown when they're done with it, toss it in a bin, and then we'll organize them and make them available for rent for students. So contact Chair Black if you have any questions about getting started on that. I'm going to be contacting him really soon. It's going to be a really big project, and I'd love to have all of you on board if you're interested, especially I know the Student Services was a heavily popular committee, so if you're interested in doing more student services work, please let me know, and we're going to get on that soon. And then lastly, I just wanted to congratulate everyone who's getting their ring on Friday. Exciting, can't wait to see all your pictures. And then lastly, just to close, whenever we leave here, if you guys could just stack your placards, it would make Pro Tem Cruz's life a lot easier. So with that, I am open for questions.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Speaker Wang? Oh, Senator Ogier?
Senator Ogier, Coordinates Caucus. That's fine. No one ever gets it right. Does filing for vacancies work the same way as filing for like an open position? Do you know?
That's basically the same thing.
Okay,
I think it's
so-
just different words.
So is their filing already closed for vacancies?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
That's all. I good questions.
All righty, Chair Wilson?
Oh, the fish aids. There's 3 this year. Have there been more in the past? What was like the decision making behind that?
So I actually met with Sarah Spahn earlier this week. She is the director of fish aids, and we had a conversation and we decided that the normal 5 fish aids is actually too many. There's actually been an influx in demand for fish aids in the last couple years, and so I actually asked for 3 because I really want to focus on personal development with them. So the goal is one of them will primarily spend time with me, the other 2 will be with Pro Tem Cruz, and then they'll also be assigned to a committee of their choice so that they can also work on legislation with the chairs. Of course, like they're not voting members of the body, so it's really hard for them to get that full Senate experience, but I found that this would be the most effective way to give them the full Senate experience.
Follow up.
Yeah.
But so there was an influx in demand for them, but so we decided there were less.
Well, I ended up taking less because I felt like if they were not being used to their maximum capacity and effectiveness, then there was no reason to have 5. So I decided to have 3.
So like there was a demand elsewhere besides
Yes.
just SGA.
Not necessarily in the Senate.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
Okay, anybody have any other questions? All right, then that concludes the period of executive reports.
We will now move into a period of closing roll call.
Alrighty, SDB Brooks.
Howdy.
Chief Justice Khanna.
Howdy.
Speaker Wang.
Howdy.
Me, I'm here. Chair Johnson.
Howdy.
Chair Wolf. Howdy. Chair Day. Howdy. Chair Abdullah.
Howdy.
Chair Black.
Howdy.
Chair Konamidi. Howdy. Chair Wilson.
Howdy.
Senator Armin.
Howdy.
Senator Anderson. Senator Anderson. Senator Andrus. Senator Abdullah. Senator Arambula. Senator Banks.
Howdy.
Senator Benke.
Howdy.
Senator Birnbaum. Senator Brett Meyer. Senator Brown. Senator Camp. Senator Castleman. Senator Christie. Senator Chunga. Senator Collins. Senator Compton. Senator Cook. Senator Cox. Senator DeYoung. Senator Diamantras. Senator Evanson. Senator Evans. Senator Hale. Senator Aliho. Senator Gilliam. Senator Hernandez. Please stay quiet. Senator Hernandez. Senator Higuerani. Senator Hong. Senator Hull. Senator Jacobson. Senator Crowe. Julia. Howdy. Senator Olivia Crowe. Howdy. Senator Lisa Baya. Senator Little. Senator Maples. Senator McCabe. Senator McCabe. Senator McCaskill. Senator Maloney. Cookie. Grant, look, you know. Senator Roy. Senator Moody.
Howdy.
Senator Moore.
Please stay in order.
Jordan Moore, I see you. Senator Martin Moore. Senator Moreno. Senator Moreno.
Oh, howdy.
Senator Musall. Senator Ogier. Ogier. I did. Senator Bardo. Senator Barker. Senator Peterson. Senator Phillips.
Stay in order.
Senator Ramirez. Senator Reveloso. Senator Reveloso. Senator Roberts. Howdy. Senator Rossi.
Howdy.
Senator Salazar. Senator Serrano. Howdy. Senator Shafasady. Senator Smart.
Howdy.
Senator Siegel.
Howdy.
Senator Sweet.
Howdy.
Senator Tilson. Doing okay. Senator Tran. Doing okay. Senator Tran.
Do you need anything?
Senator Walker.
Howdy.
Senator Walter.
Everything will calm down.
Senator Warnke.
Just like the last
Senator Westbrook.
busy week.
You have any prospects?
Senator Westbrook.
Yeah, I might.